I have a confession. I didn't watch Mad Men for the plot, the characters, or the window into mid-century US culture. I watched it for the clothes. I mean, Joan's wiggle dresses, Megan's miniskirts, come on. So if you binge TV for the outfits, drooling over Carrie's shoes in Sex and the City, or Villanelle's pink marshmallow dress in Killing Eve, even coming up with your own ideas for the chicest look on TV, it might be time to get off the couch and into a workroom as a real-life fashion designer. The path to becoming a fashion designer is paved with fabric swatches, sewing pins, and the occasional coffee run. But if you've got a passion for fashion and a willingness to pay your Jimmy Choo dues, it could be the career for you. Hi, I'm Gifty Walinwa. I'm a fashion designer who specializes in women's wear with a BA in fashion design from ASU FITM, and this is Study Hall, How to Become a Fashion Designer. Fashion designers design and create clothing and accessories from haute couture to ready-to-wear to the comfiest jeggings ever. But being a fashion designer is about more than just a love of clothes. Fashion designers are researchers and historians, diving into where trends come from and forecasting where they're heading. They're project managers, communicating with pattern makers, manufacturers, clients, models, and retail sellers. They're producers, putting on exciting fashion shows and season release parties. And of course, they're artists, working in two-dimensional sketches and three-dimensional mock-ups as they carefully craft the season's next big look. Fashion designers manage every step of the clothing design process, from the moment of conception to the moment the garment hits the shelves or the runway. They begin by pooling inspiration, researching both historical and modern trends, as well as borrowing from other art forms like painting and sculpture, or even the flora and fauna of the natural world. Then, they sketch out their ideas, either by hand in a notebook or digitally using programs like Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop, and select their fabric. From there, they create mock-ups or prototypes of the garment using cheaper materials, and once they've refined their vision, get to work on the sample garment. While fashion designers don't have to be master sewers, knowing your way around a needle and thread sure will help. Many fashion designers have tailors to help with the hands-on stuff, but they still need to know the basics of what can be done in garment construction and be able to jump in to solve any last-minute rips, tears, hems, or other alterations. What happens next kind of depends on what kind of fashion designer you are. If you're working for a fashion house, which is a company that specializes in haute couture, you'll be working to organize a fashion show where the models show off your new designs on the runway. But if you work in ready-to-wear, designing more practical and affordable looks for brands from Banana Republic to Boohoo, your designs are sent off, mass-produced, and sold in stores where people can take your looks from the shelves to the street. And the kind of clothes you design will probably depend a lot on what kind of company you're working for too. It's not just the difference between the looks you see on the runway compared to the street fashion of commercial companies, but your company's specialty. Like fashion designers who work for Vera Wang will have a process filled with lace and tulle as they focus on elegant dresses, while those who work for Brooks Brothers will know all about the cut of lapels, and designers who work for companies like Adidas are the nylon and spandex experts specializing in sportswear. What you earn as a designer definitely depends on where you're at on the totem pole. Beginning designers and assistants might make around $40,000 a year, even if you're working on garments that cost more than your rent. But after a couple years of experience, you could be making 80 grand, and eventually a lot more if you end up managing your own collections and teams. If you land a gig as a creative director at a big fashion house, you could be making up to around $200,000. In the end, fashion design is about making wearable art that makes people look good and feel good too, which is why I make sure all the dresses I design have pockets. But like many jobs in the arts, fashion designers have to be prepared to pay their dues before landing their own line. Many jobs in fashion design begin with a formal education. Sure, Maybe you've already got mad skills and a great eye, but a relevant college degree can help take you to the next level. There are fashion design degrees, but you might also consider a degree in apparel and textiles if you're extra fascinated by the materials that make up the things we wear. Or fashion merchandising, if you want to focus more on the business side of fashion design. But no matter what your degree is in, there are some areas you'll definitely have to study, like pattern making, fashion history, merchandising, and computer assistant design systems. You won't find these classes or majors at all schools, but many larger universities offer specific tracks for fashion students. There are even schools specifically for fashion design, like the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City or the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in Los Angeles. These schools offer associate's, bachelor's, and even master's degrees in wearable art. Many tend to be expensive though, meaning they can end up costing even more than a closet full of Tom Brown lobster-themed outfits. Another important step in your formal fashion design journey is an internship, where you work hands-on with established designers to get you that experience, and sometimes to get them their morning espresso. This can be a part of your degree requirements, but some students opt to wait for after graduation. Either way, most schools have career services to help match you with an appropriate position. Don't expect to get right to designing though. These internships are usually a whole lot of organizing, tracing, copying, errand running, and general unpaid assistant-ing. Obviously, an unpaid internship means you're not getting paid. And while exposure, connections, and real-life experience in an actual design house is a big deal in the industry, it's not going to cover your rent. But after your education and your internship, you should walk away with a pretty banging portfolio. In fashion design, a portfolio is just a collection of all your work, meant to show others your particular skill, style, and sensibility as a designer. A portfolio is every fashion designer's calling card, and it's the most important thing you need to get a job in the industry that actually pays in money, rather than networking opportunities. If dropping money on design school and the unpaid internship life is out of reach for you, there are other options when it comes to designing your future in the fashion industry. There are plenty of ways to get those fashion design skills without actually paying for that degree. Brushing up on basic sewing skills with the help of a friend, family member, or online tutorial is a great first step. From there, you should start trying out at-home patterns available online or at your local craft store, starting with the classic but ever chic potato sack dress and working your way up until you're DIYing your own ball gowns. You'll also want to spend a lot of time getting to know the fashion scene, including fashion history. This includes reading books and magazines, following fashion news and season releases, and getting to know the trends and designers. If you want a slightly more structured self-study experience, you could hop on an online class catalog like Coursera, Skillshare, or Udemy. While not free, this path is much cheaper than traditional art school and can do a pretty good job of teaching you the basics of the industry. And you'll want to build your own portfolio too. It should include all the same stuff as what you'd get coming out of design school: sketches, concept boards, plans, and photos of your work. From there, you could choose to pursue the internship route. Since you didn't drop all that money on a degree, maybe you could use it to keep yourself in top ramen while you work for free. But you could also jump feet first into the market without other industry experience. Many designers start their own labels, selling their garments at local boutiques, art fairs, and even online websites like Etsy. Some also use social media like Instagram or TikTok to build their audience and even make some sales. This allows you to make some money, build your brand, and maybe even set some trends before the rest of the fashion industry catches up. In fact, the writer of this very episode got her wedding dress from a designer on Etsy. She needed a Regency-era gown with an empire waist way before Bridgerton was cool, and independent designers were the only way to go. Striking out on your own is a great way to launch your career and your fashion vision, and can definitely give designers more instant gratification than slumming it in the mailroom at Vogue. That said, while running your own label right off the bat will hopefully pay more than nothing, it probably won't cover your bills. So you might want to consider a second job, at least at first. If you do decide to strike out on your own, networking can still play a huge role in growing your business and your career. And one super helpful way to make connections without a formal education or internship is by joining a collective. In fashion design, collectives are groups of designers with their own separate lines who work together and share resources and sometimes even tools and workspace. Some fashion design collectives include the Global Fashion Collective and Not Just a Label. These communities can require applications though, which is where that portfolio of yours comes in handy. Of course, there is one other way to break into the fashion industry: reality shows. Hugely popular fashion design shows like Project Runway, Next in Fashion, and Making the Cut allow decades of contestants to show their design skills, win big, and make a name for themselves. They also give those just starting out in fashion the chance to learn from industry pros. And while making your name this way isn't always the most well-respected in the world of haute couture, it's still an adrenaline shot to your fashion design career. Audition listings for shows like these are available on general audition sites like auditionsfree.com. But you should also keep an eye out for casting calls on social media. Applying for these shows isn't all that different from other fashion design industry applications, in that your portfolio and sample garments are going to take center stage. But since this is reality TV after all, your personality also plays a big role, so make sure you show up to auditions with your best foot forward and your charisma on display. When the time does come to start applying to paid jobs in the fashion design industry, you'll probably be looking at assistant designer jobs, where you work under a more experienced, established designer. The best way to get these positions is through industry connections if you've got them. But otherwise, you can look online through websites like Indeed or LinkedIn. You'll want to show up to your interview armed with your portfolio, resume, professional recommendations, and design inspirations, decked out in your best interview outfit, of course. And these entry-level jobs are really just the first step on the fashion design food chain. This first job is an opportunity to learn your craft in a way you can't in school or on your own, as well as build up your reputation as a collaborator and help others get to know your own personal design aesthetic. For better or worse, fashion design is an industry of long hours and hustle, and also office politics and team dynamics. That means it's even more important to make a good impression and make those connections. Like it or not, it's a combination of your design skills and personal charm that will earn you that promotion from assistant designer to associate designer, from associate designer to fashion director, and before you know it, you'll be running your own fashion empire. So, if you love street style, pore over fashion magazines, and can't take your eyes off of Megan's little black Zoo Bisou Bisou dress during your Mad Men rewatch, a career in fashion design might be right for you. But loving fashion and being a fashion designer are two different things. The best way to find out if a career in fashion design is right for you is to try your hand at it yourself. You can buy a sketchbook and draw out your own lines and designs, or even head over to your local fabric store for some yards and get stitching. Whether you create your own mini collection and throw your own show, join the costume department at a local theater, or just make your BFF's prom dress, there's no wrong way to test the waters. Just make sure it has pockets. From the outside, fashion design might seem like a glamorous career, complete with trendy coworkers, elegant clients, luxurious fabrics, and champagne-filled fashion events. But it also requires long hours, unpaid labor, and the nightmare of networking. Still, if making wearable art is your dream, get sketching, snipping, and sewing. If you stay true to your personal style and tastes, soon you'll have a real shot at getting paid to make beautiful clothes that everyone will want to pay you to wear, featuring the crustacean of your choice, of course. If you want to learn more about undergrad major options, check out our Fast Guide series where we dive into popular college majors. And check out GoStudyHall.com for more resources. If you want to help us out, give this video a like, comment your favorite fashion icon, and smash that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. See you next time.